Welcome to Corner Store Conversations, the podcast powered by Ravamart, the corner store that never closes. I'm Alex Bernasconi, and here we step into the heart of community, creativity, and culture. Each week we sit down with artists, entrepreneurs, and everyday visionaries who are shaping their neighborhoods and building something bigger than themselves. This is like pulling up to your favorite corner store, where stories are exchanged, ideas spark, and community comes alive. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I am Jonathan Madera. I am Puerto Rican descent, born in Florida, raised in, I don't even know what to claim anymore. I was raised in New York till I was 14, then moved to Puerto Rico, and from Puerto Rico, once I finished high school, I came to the West Coast. So I've been on the West Coast for about 24 years or so. And then the spark for the brand, once I started getting into, I knew I wanted to be in creative when I was a little kid. I saw Toy Story, and I already would draw a little bit. And so when I saw Toy Story, I said, this has got to be the thing I do, computer animation. So that was the main reason I moved to the West Coast, because there weren't really any curriculums in Puerto Rico at the time for computer animation. My sister was living in California at the time, and I asked her, hey, can I live with you while I study in the Art Institute in San Francisco? Only lasted a few semesters there before she moved further away, and I wasn't about to live on my own. So I moved with her further away from San Francisco, and the driving and the travel to school just became too much. So I moved to a different college, studied graphic design, which is way more general.
Yeah.
But over time, in recent years, I started going into leadership as a product designer. And the more you get into like managerial roles and leadership, the less you actually the less creative you are with the hands-on work. And that's my passion. I always wanted to be creating. And so I started this small project to do phrases that you hear either from your parents or from salsa songs that are like really clever and just very unique. The salsa singers back in the 70s and 80s were the original bad boys at the time. And so they would come out with these really fresh and cool sayings that go over so many people's heads.
Yeah.
So those sayings is what I wanted to create designs of, right? I always see if you go to a Latino festival, there's a lot of little kiosks and booths with shirts, but everything feels like typed out, like not a lot of thought and creativity poured into these things. So I really wanted to draw out the phrases in certain forms of, logo, letter designs or type designs, right? And that evolved into Buena Gente brand. And over time with Buena Gente brand, I started noticing there's really not much representation in the sport of golf.
Yeah.
And that's when the light bulb went off, and I was like, I'll just do something different. I always like pushing boundaries or thinking outside of the box. And I think of a lot of the logos that brands have, and I just wanted to do something where if I were to put my logo in line or like in a collage with a bunch of other logos, that mine's really stood out. And
Yeah.
I think I was able to achieve that.
Yeah. No, you did for sure. And I personally love golf. I've played my whole life, but can you tell me a little bit about your love for the game and, how long you've been really interested in it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a love for the game or just everything, the experience of being outside, being with the people you like to spend 5 hours plus with. And the challenge itself of the sport. There's highs and lows. The highs feel great when you're doing well, And then the lows make you feel like, why did I spend 5 hours losing balls? And so I get more of those experiences than the highs. But everything started when I was a little kid. My dad was a welder for the union in New York.
Mm.
And the last person you would think would come home with a driver and some little wiffle ball golf balls. And that's what he came home with, just one day out of nowhere, out of the blue. My brother says he got my dad into it, but at the time my brother didn't live with us.
Yeah.
So all I know as a kid is that my dad arrived one day with just the driver, no other sticks, nothing else,
Yeah.
and the little wiffle balls. And I was always alone as a kid. So then I'd get the driver and hit it out in the front lawn, and that's kind of where it started. But I never really got into golf. When my dad moved us to Puerto Rico, we lived right next to the golf course, never stepped foot on it. I moved to the West Coast, and until I got married, that's when I started like going out there with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the form kind of came naturally to me. So people would see me do like a practice swing, and they'd be like, "Oh, good form." And then when I'd hit it, they'd be like, "No, something's wrong there." So it was always one of those things where I liked it if I had the time to go out, but it wasn't ever something that I was like, I am super passionate about this until, it was around the time, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, that I started playing more often. Then I was like, I really like this. I started upgrading clubs, and that's when I started thinking about the game more. And then that's where I saw the opportunity to represent this particular market.
Got it. So I'm sure that with the way that you're describing golf and the difficulties, and with the highs and lows, that you probably see a lot of similarities from being a small business owner and playing golf. Can you touch on the difficulties that you found just within the last year of starting this?
I think the initial demand and the attention that the brand got as soon as I started was a little unprecedented. I didn't know what to do from the attention I was getting. I was selling out drops, and I wasn't, everything in the first business world in an apparel design. I've never been an apparel designer, so
Yeah.
I didn't know the world of, okay, you sell out, you need to restock, and this is what's hot, this is your flagship items, this is what you can experiment on. And for example, last year I sold out of my polos, and people are still asking me to this day, like, when are you going to restock them? Unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but I moved from one manufacturer to another, and that's resetting the whole process, like everything. And so there's that. There's the growing pains of knowing how much detail you got to give the manufacturers in order to get back what you want or what you envisioned.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand to what level of detail you have to go into in the tech packs. Also, getting out of my own way has been difficult still to this day. I'm learning how to get out of my own way and not make things perfect before launching it. Now just like getting things out, get the feedback, make adjustments later down the line or for another release if need be. And I think initially it was a lot of, this brand is here, I want to be there, and not really enjoying the process of getting there,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, they say comparison is the thief of joy. I experienced that early on, and then I learned, thankfully, and I'm grateful that I was able to go through that experience, but now I've learned that that's not the case. I am in my own lane. This is my own story, and I don't have to compare myself to other brands or other designers or other business people, right? How they're growing their own business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. That's, I am in the middle of that switch as well for manufacturers, so it's been painful,
Yeah,
to say the
for sure.
least.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Uh,
the tariffs, of course, you know.
yeah, so yeah. Now I'm going to try to keep it local. I'm in San Diego. I don't know if I told you.
Okay.
Um,
No, I didn't know.
so yeah, now I'm just looking to stay local, but then learning all about that. But at least I get to meet people in person and
Yeah.
we get to go through it and discuss the designs, like you said, going through
Yeah.
contacts via email or even just a call like this is hard.
hmm hmm
Um,
And so, can I ask you
yeah.
what are you focusing on for your brand? Is it golf? Is it golf
No,
specific, or is it just
no. So for ours, we're going in a new direction because at first I started off with I am obsessed with Muji. I don't know if you know Muji, but it's a Japanese store and they
Oh,
sell
okay.
clothes and home goods.
hmm
And so we started off, like I have all handmade Japanese home goods that are made in Japan or London or Paris. And I, took a long time sourcing all of those.
hmm
And then I was going to do merch on the side. And so I did some hats. And then the hats took off.
Cool.
So, which was great, but no one was really interested in all of the home goods, at least the people that
Mm-hmm.
it was naturally attracting. So now we are going to shift. We're almost out of all of the home goods and we're shifting into just hats and socks. We'll have socks soon.
hmm
And then eventually we'll get into apparel, but I think we're just going to do hats and socks for at least a year or two
Cool.
before we get into apparel. So yeah, and it's going to be more of like a corner store chic. So it's called
hmm
Art, and we're going to do different corner stores. I used to live in New York for 10 years, so definitely like
hmm
Brooklyn Bodega stuff. We have Japanese dollar store stuff, and kind of just going through that side of things.
That's cool.
But also throughout that, my clientele are 99% men.
hmm
So I started talking to people because people were messaging me saying, hey, I want this
Yeah.
colorway, for example. And then I just liked talking to guys about what their favorite brands were. Like,
hmm
what do you enjoy out there? So, if I may ask you, what is your favorite brand right now besides your own?
Ooh. That's a tough one, mainly because I don't really think about this. I don't have a favorite. I'm sorry to say, I don't have a
No.
favorite brand. I really
Yeah.
don't. I'm not brand loyal to anything. Um, I do have a really, really strong belief that people make things look cool, not
Uh,
the
yep.
things make people, look cool. I
I
think,
completely agree. I
yeah,
completely
I
agree.
think, yeah, there's people that have a certain, and that's the story a little bit about this logo with the
Yeah.
jewelry. It's the inspiration was my father and his brothers. It's kind of like the uncles that have that swagger that when you're younger, you're like, it's kind of corny and kind of whack. And then the older you get, you're like, oh wait, they always had that swag on them. They were always
Yeah.
stylish. I just never knew it. I never noticed. And when I go to Puerto Rico to visit and I see, and not just Puerto Rico, there's something about, you know, older folks that have that charisma and that way about them. You don't necessarily see what they're wearing, but rather the way they exude that confidence, that coolness about them.
Yeah.
And and then that's the impression I get and that's what I leave with. And that is a big thing for me where people spend a lot of money on clothes and automatically think because this is name brand, now I'm a fashionista or I'm like, this I don't know, somebody that wears designer clothes, therefore I am stylish, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but I am a big believer that how you are, how you carry yourself, and how you treat others is the style. And I'm embracing that more. People would be You'd be surprised by how many compliments I get on things that I get from Costco and that I
Yeah.
get from Target. Literally, like it's most of my wardrobe. If it's not my brand, my pants are from Costco or from Target. Like I don't spend a lot of money on things.
Yeah.
And then the compliments tell me, all right, it's not really the brand. It's not the brand. It's how you put things together. It's how you show it off, right?
Yeah, it's really
So
your aura at the end of the
yeah,
day, what people are feeling. They're not really feeling the pants, it's the person, like you said.
exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So, really, I guess, what's next for Buena Gente? Like,
Yeah.
what do you see in the next couple years?
I've always wanted to focus on course wear. So it's my thing was never to do t-shirts, hoodies, and stuff like that. It sells. It's what sells more.
Hmm.
It sells easier, just like everyday wear. But I love the on-course wear. I love to have an excuse to dress up, and a reason, an event to dress up and look spiffy. And so it's always been my goal to do on-course wear. So polos, my next drop or collection, my first proper drop will be polos, quarter zip ups, vests, zip up vests, and wind jackets. So that's really what's on the horizon. The very next big milestone for me is working. I've been working constantly, messaging daily with one of the agents over there in Asia, where he, has his kind of like network of manufacturers, and he's able to say, all right, this one could do this and that. And really, that's the next big thing, is to have my first official drop for fall winter of 2025. So excited for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get enough stuff for next year's PGA show, and I have a booth, and I'm able to show a little more of what we could do with polos, and how that creativity that merges culture, tradition, and the sport, is how I can display that or put that on display in a booth.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess as a final question to wrap things up, if you were to give advice to other either entrepreneurs who are just starting out or people who have always wanted to start something but haven't yet, what would it be?
Yeah, I would say find the thing that makes you different from everybody else. There is a million and one brands right now. I mean, I could open my phone and see a brand new brand, like a new brand. And I'm talking just about golf. Like you could just imagine how many brands are popping up every day for like lifestyle stuff and athleisure. But what makes you different? What audience are you targeting and marketing to? And then how are you doing it? And I think we're in the business of selling stories right now. Either selling stories or selling hype. I think a lot of people are buying hype, which is what the industry says, this is popular, this is the trend. And then a lot of people either go towards that, or the other half of the people will go towards something that resonates with them at a deeper level. And that's really where I am. And that's where I saw success, in the sense of, okay, this brand is not like the other brands. This has a story. This connects with either your childhood because you come from, a different country, and you feel like there's a brand that's speaking to that, like that uniqueness and being different from the everyday golf wear, or there's a connection because your parents or your grandparents or your ancestors come from other countries that aren't represented in golf, in everyday things that you see. So I would say really look for that thing that makes you different and stand out. There is an audience for everything. For everything. I mean, there are people that collect stamps and coins and like the
Spoons.
craziest thing that you and I wouldn't even be into.
Yeah.
But there's an audience out there for everything, literally everything. So find that niche and go all in on it.
Great. Thank you so much. And
Yeah, thank you.
another thing that I just want to say is
Mhm.
you're amazing at storytelling.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess where did you get that, or how has that always been you and what you've been known for, or how did you get that skill?
That's interesting. I've known that it's a skill I have, and then my brothers would tell me you're good at storytelling, but them telling me it, I know that they're really good at it too.
Yeah,
Um, it's
I feel like it's usually a family thing.
I was
It's
just gonna
always
say my
like
dad.
charismatic dads
Yeah,
and grandpas just being
I
able
would
to.
say my dad. Yeah, my dad, when we'd host people, he loved to cook and host people.
Mhm.
And he was always this, he would start talking and it was just like the attention went to him.
Yeah.
And on top of the stories that he would say, he was very funny, like really, really funny. And it's kind of like taking people along. Like if I were to close my eyes and somebody were to explain a movie to me,
Yeah.
like can they explain it in a way where it makes sense from beginning? Like this is the intro, this is the plot, this is the height, the peak of the movie, this is the end. That for me is a good storyteller if I can close my eyes and really visualize what they're trying to transmit to me.
Hmm.
I think one of the best compliments I've gotten since I started this is somebody bought a polo and said, I feel like all I need right now is a fedora and a cigar. And that for me felt like, all right, I was able to transport them to a time and place.
Yeah.
And that is storytelling for me, is to make the person feel either a connection or like, you engage one of their five senses. It's awesome if you could do more than one, but that they feel something from it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes a really good storyteller. Thank you for I'm flattered. Thank you for the
Yeah.
compliment, by the way. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And yeah, I think people that can tell a good story, either through visuals or copy. I think copy is design, really, at the end of the day. I think if you can do that, then you're able to hook and engage an audience.
Yeah, for sure. No, I remember, I think one of my favorite feelings so far since starting uh,
Hmm.
is just my first 5-star review from a stranger.
Awesome.
It's just,
Yeah.
you're like, ah,
Feels
yes,
great,
thank you.
right?
That's what I wanted you to feel when you got
Yeah.
that. So yeah, it's just a
That's
great
awesome.
feeling.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out at Corner Store Conversations. If today's talk inspired you, share it with a friend and keep the conversation going. For more everyday delights, follow along at Rava_Mart on Instagram and at Corner Store Conversations on YouTube. Until next time, stay creative, stay connected, and remember, the Corner Store is always open.